Experiencing flickering lights and television screens can be frustrating, so here are potential causes and troubleshooting steps to address this issue. Firstly, investigate loose electrical connections. Check if the light fixtures and the television are securely attached to their electrical outlets. Inspect the wiring and connections for any loose or damaged wires. Tighten any loose connections using a screwdriver. Secondly, consider faulty light bulbs. Replace the flickering light bulbs with new ones. Choose bulbs with a similar wattage and type to the originals. Thirdly, analyze power surges. Check if the flickering occurs during thunderstorms or other events that can cause power surges. Install a surge protector to protect electronic devices from voltage fluctuations. Fourthly, examine for an overloaded circuit. Determine if the lights and television are on the same electrical circuit. If so, try turning off other high-energy appliances or devices on that circuit. Consider adding another circuit breaker to the electrical panel to distribute the load better. Fifthly, consider wiring issues. If the flickering persists after addressing the above issues, it may be due to faulty wiring in the walls or ceiling. Contact a qualified electrician to inspect the wiring and make necessary repairs. Sixthly, check for electrical appliance interference. Check if the flickering occurs when specific appliances, such as air conditioners or refrigerators, are turned on. Try unplugging the appliance and see if the flickering stops. If so, contact a qualified electrician or appliance repair technician. Seventhly, examine the power supply. Ensure that the electrical panel is providing sufficient power to the lights and television. Check if other electrical devices in the home are also experiencing flickering. If necessary, upgrade the electrical system or call an electrician to investigate the power supply. Here are safety precautions to remember. Always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before attempting any electrical work. Inspect wires carefully for damage or fraying. Do not attempt to repair electrical issues yourself if you are not qualified. When addressing loose electrical connections, begin by visually inspecting the outlets and fixtures. Look for any signs of damage, such as cracks or discoloration. Gently tug on the wires connected to the outlets and fixtures to see if they are loose. If you find any loose connections, use a screwdriver to tighten the screws that hold the wires in place. Be careful not to over-tighten the screws, as this could damage the wires. When replacing light bulbs, be sure to choose bulbs with the correct wattage for the fixture. Using bulbs with a higher wattage than recommended can overload the circuit and cause flickering. Also, consider using LED bulbs, as they are more energy efficient and last longer than traditional incandescent bulbs. Power surges can be caused by a variety of factors, including lightning strikes, power outages, and the startup of large appliances. Surge protectors work by diverting excess voltage away from electronic devices, protecting them from damage. When choosing a surge protector, look for one that is rated to protect against the types of surges that are common in area. If you suspect that you have an overloaded circuit, you can use a circuit tester to check the amperage draw of the devices on that circuit. A circuit tester will tell you how many amps are being drawn by the devices on the circuit. If the amperage draw is close to the maximum rating of the circuit breaker, then the circuit is likely overloaded. If you need to add another circuit breaker to the electrical panel, it is important to consult with a qualified electrician. Adding a new circuit breaker requires knowledge of electrical wiring and safety procedures. Faulty wiring can be caused by a variety of factors, including age, damage, and improper installation. If you suspect that you have faulty wiring, it is important to contact a qualified electrician to inspect the wiring and make necessary repairs. Electrical appliance interference can occur when appliances with motors or compressors draw a large amount of current when they start up. This can cause a temporary voltage drop, which can cause lights to flicker. To determine if an appliance is causing interference, try unplugging the appliance and see if the flickering stops. If so, you may need to have the appliance repaired or replaced. If you suspect that you have a problem with the power supply, you can contact your local utility company to investigate. The utility company can check the voltage at your meter and make sure that you are receiving adequate power. When working with electricity, it is important to take safety precautions to protect yourself from injury. Always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before attempting any electrical work. Inspect wires carefully for damage or fraying. Do not attempt to repair electrical issues yourself if you are not qualified. Consider the age of your home's electrical system. Older homes may have outdated wiring that is not capable of handling the demands of modern appliances and electronics. If your home is more than 25 years old, it may be a good idea to have the electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician. Also consider the type of lighting you are using. Some types of lighting, such as fluorescent lights, are more prone to flickering than others. If you are using fluorescent lights, try switching to LED lights to see if that resolves the issue. Check the voltage at the outlet. If the voltage is too low, it can cause lights to flicker. You can use a multimeter to check the voltage at the outlet. The voltage should be between 110 volts and 120 volts. Look for signs of rodents or pests. Rodents and pests can chew on electrical wiring, causing damage that can lead to flickering lights. If you see any signs of rodents or pests, contact a pest control company to have them removed. Listen for any unusual noises coming from the electrical panel. If you hear any buzzing, crackling, or popping noises, it could be a sign of a serious electrical problem. Contact a qualified electrician immediately. Check the condition of the electrical panel itself. Look for any signs of rust, corrosion, or damage. If you see any of these signs, contact a qualified electrician to have the panel inspected and repaired or replaced. Consider the location of the lights and television. If they are located in an area that is subject to vibrations, such as near a washing machine or dryer, the vibrations could be causing the lights to flicker. Try moving the lights and television to a different location to see if that resolves the issue. If you live in an area with frequent power outages, consider installing a backup generator. A backup generator will provide power to your home during a power outage, preventing your lights and television from flickering. Consider the type of television you have. Some types of televisions, such as plasma televisions, are more prone to flickering than others. If you have a plasma television, try adjusting the brightness and contrast settings to see if that reduces the flickering. Check the cables that are connected to your television. Make sure that the cables are securely connected and that they are not damaged. Loose or damaged cables can cause flickering. If you have a cable box or satellite receiver, try unplugging it and plugging it back in. This can sometimes resolve flickering issues. Try resetting your television to its factory settings. This will erase all of your settings and preferences, but it may also resolve flickering issues. If you have tried all of the above steps and the flickering is still occurring, it is likely that there is a more serious electrical problem. Contact a qualified electrician to have the problem diagnosed and repaired. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to leave the work to a qualified electrician. Taking these safety precautions can help protect you from injury. Also, be certain to note the frequency and pattern of the flickering. Is it constant, intermittent, or does it occur at specific times of day? Does it affect all the lights and appliances, or just a few? This information can help to narrow down the cause of the problem. Consider recent electrical work that has been done in your home. If you have recently had any electrical work done, such as installing a new outlet or light fixture, it is possible that the work was not done correctly. Contact the electrician who did the work and ask them to come back and inspect it. Check the weather conditions. Flickering lights can sometimes be caused by weather conditions such as high winds or heavy rain. If the flickering is occurring during bad weather, it is likely that the weather is the cause of the problem. If you live in an apartment building, contact your landlord. If you live in an apartment building, the flickering lights may be caused by a problem with the building's electrical system. Contact your landlord and ask them to investigate the problem. It's also useful to know what type of lighting you're using, such as incandescent, fluorescent, or light-emitting diode, or LED. Incandescent bulbs are the least energy efficient and have the shortest lifespan and are more prone to flickering as they age. Fluorescent lights, especially older ones, can flicker due to the ballast. LED are the most energy efficient and have the longest lifespan. They are generally less prone to flickering, but cheap LED or those on a failing driver can flicker. If you're comfortable, check the voltage at the outlet when the lights are flickering. A multimeter can be used to measure the voltage. If the voltage is significantly lower than 120 volts when the lights are flickering, this could indicate a problem with the power supply. If the flickering is only happening with specific appliances, try plugging them into a different outlet on a different circuit. This will help determine if the problem is with the appliance or the circuit. When dealing with flickering lights and a TV, it's also important to consider if the issue is isolated to these devices or if other appliances in your home are also experiencing problems. If other appliances are affected, it could point to a more widespread electrical issue. If the flickering is accompanied by other symptoms, such as a burning smell or sparks, this is a serious safety hazard. Turn off the power to the affected circuit immediately and contact a qualified electrician. In some cases, flickering lights can be caused by problems with the electrical grid itself. If you suspect that this is the case, contact your local utility company to report the problem. Also, consider the dimming capabilities of your lights. If you have dimmer switches installed, make sure that the bulbs you are using are compatible with dimmers. Using non-dimmable bulbs with a dimmer switch can cause them to flicker. If you have smart home devices such as smart light bulbs or smart outlets, they may be the source of the problem. Try disconnecting these devices to see if that resolves the flickering. Remember that working with electricity can be dangerous, so it's always best to err on the side of caution. If you are not comfortable troubleshooting the problem yourself, contact a qualified electrician to inspect the wiring and make any necessary repairs. Keeping detailed notes of when and how the flickering occurs can be invaluable when speaking with an electrician. Note down the time of day, the appliances in use, and any other relevant information that may help them diagnose the problem more quickly. Don't forget to check the simple things first. Sometimes the flickering can be caused by something as simple as a loose bulb or a dirty connection. Taking a few minutes to check these things can save you time and money in the long run. Remember to consider any recent changes to your electrical system or appliances, such as adding a new appliance, upgrading your electrical panel, or changing the type of light bulbs you are using. Any of these changes could be the cause of the flickering. If you have any doubts about the safety of your electrical system, it's always best to contact a qualified electrician. They can inspect your system and identify any potential hazards. It's also important to keep your electrical panel clean and free of obstructions. Make sure that there is nothing stored in front of the panel that could prevent you from accessing it in an emergency. Finally, remember that regular maintenance is key to keeping your electrical system in good working order. Have your system inspected by a qualified electrician every few years to identify and address any potential problems before they become serious. Also consider the possibility of voltage fluctuations in your area. These can be caused by a variety of factors such as changes in demand on the electrical grid, problems with power generation, or even weather events. If you suspect that you are experiencing voltage fluctuations, contact your local utility company to report the problem. They may be able to install a voltage monitor to track the voltage levels in your home and identify any problems. If you have a standby generator, test it regularly to ensure that it is working properly. A generator can provide backup power in the event of a power outage, preventing your lights and television from flickering. Consider the type of wiring in your home. Older homes may have aluminum wiring, which is more prone to corrosion and can cause electrical problems. If you have aluminum wiring, it is important to have it inspected by a qualified electrician to ensure that it is safe. Also consider the location of your electrical panel. If it is located in a damp or humid area, it is more likely to corrode and cause electrical problems. Try to keep the area around your electrical panel dry and well ventilated. If you have any trees or shrubs near your electrical service line, have them trimmed regularly to prevent them from interfering with the line. Tree branches can sometimes cause power outages and voltage fluctuations. If you are planning to do any renovations or additions to your home, make sure that your electrical system is adequate to handle the increased load. Consult with a qualified electrician to determine if you need to upgrade your electrical panel or wiring. Remember that electrical codes and regulations vary from place to place. Make sure that you are familiar with the codes and regulations in your area before doing any electrical work. Finally, be aware of the signs of electrical overload, such as flickering lights, trip circuit breakers, and warm outlets. If you notice any of these signs, it is important to take action immediately to prevent a fire or other electrical hazard. It is better to hire a professional to do such things because there are too many things that can go wrong.